What's up, guys? I'm back with another example video. Today we'll be looking at the ISTP personality type. No, it is not a mechanic. It is Julian Casablancas, a very famous American singer. You might know him from bands like The Strokes, The Voids. He did a lot of collaborations with bands like Daft Punk, for example. This interview is taken from an independent music radio station called A Fistful of Vinyl. The interviewer does a fantastic job here, so I'd suggest checking it out if you have the time. And Julian is just around the age of 40 in this interview. Even though he might not look it, he's a very well-developed, experienced ISTP, in my opinion, so hope you enjoy.
We have a playlist queued up as well, music that you've hand-selected. And we're going to kind of dedicate the middle portion of the show to just having a conversation, you and I.
Okay.
So we'll come back to that. First up, I'm going to play a song by No Age, just to contextualize people who go into that show. Then you had requested we start the show with Into the Void by Black Sabbath.
I mean, sure.
All right. I love the commitment. This is No Age with the song Cruise Control. You're listening to A Fistful of Vinyl.
Just don't want to step on your toes. If you have a vision for the set,
We'll hop around. It's mostly just going to be dictated by time. Is there anything you don't want to talk about? I should, just out of courtesy, I could avoid.
probably,
Is there any point you feel like you don't want to answer that? I'll 100% respect it. I don't know. Other than that, man, I think it's going to be fun.
How long do you DJ?
We're on till about 10. I talked to the DJ after us. Her name's Marina. Very cool.
Only an hour?
Only an hour. All right, this is valuable time, dude.
We already got one parasafer.
Did they? What animal did they say?
He said snake.
Oh, come on. That's the one I said. There's other animals that don't have fur. Naked mole rat. Fish. Any fish.
That's a pretty good question.
I mean, that was truly a ticket giveaway.
This very cool, chill, zen-like demeanor. It's something that's characteristic of most ISTPs, something that I've noticed, maybe even with most artisans in general. But yeah, they're just going to be really like laid back, go with the flow. And they have this switch where they can just turn it on and be in the moment. But very few types can match the ISTP in terms of coolness.
Also, yeah, if at any point you got a question, if you feel like asking me anything, I'm an open book as well. This entire show for me is dedicated to just being as human as I can, faults and all.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because I'll be, so deep in thought. Sometimes I'll think, those are interesting things, but then I know you step into an interview and it's always like, what's it like recording music? And
My very aim is to make this an interview of questions that you haven't been asked before. I'm going to do my best. I'm probably going to hit some do-overs, but I hate those interviews that are just like, why is your band called The Voids? What was The Strokes like?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I don't want to do that, man.
I mean, it's not that I mind. I'm just bad at answering those questions.
Oh.
So when he said he tends to be in deep thought when he's doing these interviews, it's something that's characteristic of TI DOMs, and even Jung in his chapter on the introverted thinking type says, because all the time he is teaching, in this case I'll just say talking, his thought is occupied with the material itself and not with its presentation. So they'll just overthink things, and this is something that's common with TI DOMs, and even Julian himself is quoted to say, like, I overthink things a lot.
I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna totally derail for a second, and I apologize.
No, let's go.
If I was listening, I'd be like, just shut up and play music. So sorry, but
I got this wild idea that people want to hear you talk, so I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Wild. I think that it was interesting. I was just thinking about just music and just what it is, and it's in a way it's the human voice and the maternal voice, the soothingness of it, kind of broken up like octaves and musical intervals, but I was in a simpler way to look at it, it's almost like in speech, there's artistic speech and there's non-artistic speech. So I was thinking you could say, sun tanning is kind of one way, but sunbathing is almost a more poetic way.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was just thinking there's that thing, there's the confines of reality that we live in that are very kind of, angular and physical. And then there's this kind of like outside musical, artistic, kind of beyond human comprehension world where we seek this kind of truth that you can't grasp, and music and art is kind of that weird in between. It's like a wobbling the kind of barriers of reality to kind of understand the greater thing that's beyond our grasp.
Since TI is often associated with logic, it's easy to fall under the impression that TI DOMs will like mathematics and stuff like that. But it's not always the case. TI, it just likes to deconstruct any sort of tangible information. Anything that can be broken down logically and tangibly. So numbers, words, objects, music, stuff like that. So how he looks at music and breaks it into octaves and intervals, it's a good sign of TI. As far as SE, you can see it in the very fluid hand movements and how he uses them for self-expression and how he uses them to emphasize his points. And here's the secret about the SPs, the artisans, and how this SE-NI axis operates, how you can see it. What NI is visualizing conceptually, one concept at a time, not daydreaming, visualizing, will be expressed through SE, through those hand movements. And that's why the SPs are very animated in the way that they speak, and they're very confident and sure of how they use their hands and just their external surrounding, around them, and their understanding of it.
Julian.
Hey,
man. So we were just talking off air about kind of independent DIY underground or underappreciated music. And it's a big mission of this show to try to like give those artists, give that music a voice and a platform. And I know you're an advocate for kind of non-major label music. What in your mind is like the best way to lend support to music like that, or the best way to kind of like seek out talent within those sort of underpromoted groups?
Wow. I mean, you guys are kind of the lighthouse.
Oh.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I guess, everything is just so commercialized. Everything in our culture is based on, financial success. So, or, results or whatever. So things like quality and, artistic value and, what's good for the people. These things are all secondary to what, makes profit. And it's not just music. It's all kind of worlds. The one place where it seems like there's a safe haven for art is movies for some reason. There's like the Oscars and independent films still seem to be made and be heard of. And, it's not like, the biggest blockbuster wins the Oscar for Best Picture. You know what I mean? So
very true. Sometimes the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. So, but in music, it's kind of the Grammys are usually like the biggest record, and and there's no validation. It seems like commercial success is confused for artistic validation, and in almost all areas of the modern world.
And as an individual, to subvert that, you tune into the radio, the below 92 rule, like you said.
I do more. I'm in a band. And
I run a radio show. This is cool. We should hang out.
But yeah, no, that's a big, part of it, I suppose.
So there's a lot that was said, but here's the gist of it. NI likes to deal with symbolism and metaphor. So one global encompassing vision. In this case, it's art. So not only does he compare it to music, but also to film and cinema. He sort of synthesized them together to state his point and arrive at a singular truth or perspective. ISPs, in general, are very often underestimated in their abilities and the capabilities that they have to do this. As far as TI and I, a good way of looking at it is like the song Schism by Tool, especially at the artwork. NI, it likes to look at two sides of the coin, the left and the right, and what is in the middle, what's the intrinsic essence. TI likes to look at all the fragmentary information. TI seeks accuracy and validation, NI, verisimilitude. And the thing is, since both these functions are introverted and subjective, it can go on forever and ever and ever.
You having a good time so far?
Yes, and so much can go wrong in an interview, I find.
I don't think I agree. I think if you're honest, we're not looking to create something perfect. We're just doing a thing that after we're done, it's happened. You know, no matter what you say, that's how it went down in this room tonight.
It is hard to kind of translate the way you talk off camera to on camera or on mic, because I feel like I can be normal and then maybe I'll just say one kind of joke or thought that I don't even feel super strongly, but someone was asking me about a weird thing and I just felt the pressure of explaining it interestingly, and it's always that one thing that like personally is, you know, comes back to not haunt me is a hard word, is a heavy word for it, but
Maybe just
like my mom will
proportion.
call me and be like, why didn't you say that thing? Or, you know, my stepdad will be like, you should never say this. Or a friend will be like, I heard what you said and I was really bummed. Or, you know, a manager will call and say like, this guy's really upset. You know what I mean?
That's a lot of pressure. That's an insane amount of pressure. Can you feel all that?
Well, that's why so far I'm pretty sure I didn't
I don't think you said anything
any
uncouth.
religions or creeds or people, but I just feel like that's always an undercurrent. So
I personally feel like you're. I would never intentionally try to offend somebody.
Not you, but most journalists are liars.
I'm not a journalist. I'm just a dude
Not
with a
you.
radio show.
I'm just talking about interviews.
Yeah.
This is my own shit. This is
Yeah,
not
for sure.
This is not you. This is your. I've only had wonderful experiences with probably every college station I can remember going to, and that's what I love to listen to. But just in general, when you do interviews, I'm just saying I've misstepped a lot, so I'm just always thinking, don't put your foot in your mouth. That's all.
I got you.
Alex,
This is great. This is fun.
What's up, Brayden?
do you want to
Alright, so to conclude with that example of FE, that need and want to connect with others on a harmonious level, especially with close friends and family. Even musically speaking, you know, FE, harmony, music, objective. Something to take away with maybe TI, you know, dealing with bits and pieces of logical fragmentary information. FI can also be melody, or the different melodies that are used to compose a song. Just some psycho candy talking. Anyways, I'm done. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and as always, thank you for watching.